Hi guys, it's Mary. Talk to Me Tuesday on a Wednesday, February 3rd, 2021. Boy, I've been cranking out some things this week, but I'm only going to show you one project because the rest are just like continuation of things I've already shown you, and it's going to be just more of the same. So when I get to further along in it, I'll update you on that. But what I want to show you today is my Year of Doom bookshelf, which is coming along quite well, I think. It's ending up a lot of machine embroidery rather than paper piecing, and I'm okay with that. It's kind of a different look, of course, but like I said, I'm okay. I plan to hang this. I think I probably told you this. I probably want to hang this in my new house. The house we're renovating. I have a reading corner like I do in every house, and I have my chair there and my little table, and it's in a corner, which is why it's a reading corner and not a reading nook. But anyway, in that corner, it's got gray walls. In that corner, I'm going to hang it in the corner. So it's going to look like two bookcases in a corner. And it's going to be all my favorite books, which really, really rules out all kinds of fandom in stitches because a lot of those are my favorite movies, or my favorite series. And so I've really limited myself. But I have so many favorite books that I don't know if they're even going to all fit on the shelf. So I may have to, the whole room might be, all the walls in the room might be bookcases by the time I finish. That kind of happened on my Harry Potter quilt, where my two Harry Potter quilts turned into things that could each cover the roof of a house. But I'm trying to keep it into one little bookcase that I can hang in the corner. So, a lot of thought has gone into this because, of course, I'm figuring out what my favorite books are. These are all that's my background. These are all my scraps for it. So, I started with the philosophy section, and I'm making progress on that. I hope philosophy can all fit on one shelf. Now, you need to understand that the philosophers who influence me are not going to be found in the philosophy section of a library or a bookstore, because the philosophers who have taught me so much are not known as philosophers. But I mean, you'll understand, because if you're a reader, you'll know what I'm talking about. Anyway, on my philosophy shelf, which is really coming along, let's start with, and I might have shown you the beginning of this. So it starts with the Hobbit block. And yes, the Hobbit, Tolkien, is one of my favorite philosophers. And you can't read Gandalf and tell me he's not a philosopher. So here's the Hobbit. And then we go into the Lord of the Rings. So the Hobbit and the Lord of the Rings are kind of my first two blocks, and that's on the philosophy section. Then we get to Chronicles of Narnia, and that's from here to here. It's taking up a lot of space, but that's okay. This is a box set, of course. I'm probably going to embroider the Lord of the Rings across this box set like I did across Chronicles of Narnia. So that's the beginning of my philosophy. The next part of the philosophy section, well, Marcus Aurelius Meditations. This is adjustable depending on how much shelf space I have. This might be all I do on him, because what you typically see from Marcus Aurelius is quotes, and I've already got this big quote right there. And you see his bust, a carving of his head and shoulders, and he's not an attractive man. I haven't found the machine embroidery of his bust. I could make a paper pieced one. I could make an applique one, but I'm not sure. I keep thinking of this. If this was my bookshelf and if these were my books on the shelf, what would I have between them? And so this is obviously a light post I picked up somewhere because it reminded me of Narnia. This is a quote that I stitched out and put in a little frame to put on my bookshelf. And so I probably, if I had meditations that wasn't in audiobook form on my shelf, I would not put anything next to it. So I think this might just be a standalone. This fabric is a woven. It gave me a little trouble with fringing. This is a woven. This was a I don't know what it's called because I'm not that familiar with Jewish ritual, but it came from a Jewish friend of mine, and it is a I don't know if it's an altar cloth or a tablecloth or but it's this woven, nice woven fabric, and then this is in fact, here's another piece of it on my draft of this, which didn't work out too well. So it's quite big. So I cut it up, and this one I kind of liked, except this S is messed up, and when I went to redo it, I decided to change my fonts to this, which I kind of like better. And anyway, it's a beautiful, you can see how it's woven. So I think that turned out pretty well for Marcus Aurelius's block, and he's going to go somewhere on philosophy. Now, my other philosophers, I probably will fill the whole shelf with philosophy. My other philosophers, of course, are Dr. Seuss. Don't even start me on him not being a philosopher. And, I'm going to leave Winnie the Pooh over in his section, even though there's a lot of philosopher characters in Winnie the Pooh. But, so those are kind of, so yes, in other words, I have absolutely no problem putting Dr. Seuss next to Marcus Aurelius or St. Augustine. And then St. Augustine, City of God. I haven't read any of his individual books, but City of God is 22 volumes. Again, I have it in audiobook. I'm not gonna take up a whole shelf that looks like encyclopedias, a whole set of encyclopedias just for one book. It's a series of books, City of God. So probably going to break it down into more like what I did with Marcus Aurelius. We'll have to see about that. So I'm going to put off St. Augustine for now. So then I go over to, I don't even know what to call this section, if it's just basic fiction or if it's, well, I don't know if you guys let me know. If you had a bookshelf and you had the Tales of Peter Rabbit, would you put that in regular fiction? Would you put it in fairy tales? Where would you categorize this? Anyway, this is when I stitched out Peter Rabbit, and one thing I haven't done, I haven't clipped all my threads yet because I can do that when I watch a movie sometime, and I haven't pressed these close to the stitching because I'm waiting for a better pressing mat, and they're going to be flatter when I get that. So don't worry about the wrinkles. When I stitched him out and I put him next to the book, I realized that it looked like he literally just jumped out of the pages of the book. So I like how that turned out. So I've got Beatrix Potter finished. So I've actually finished 6 of my blocks when you count all these up. And then I think I might have shown you my first Hitchcock block. Hitchcock is the one that I'm fudging a little because I've not read any of the books that the Hitchcock movies are based on, but they're all based on books. And I hadn't watched the movie Mary, And but I have now. I've actually still not watched Mary because Mary is in German, and it is in really bad shape, so you can't really get it. But Mary and Murder are two different movies that Hitchcock filmed, I think in England, and he filmed them together. They're the same story and the same movie, and he filmed them on the same set. But Mary is filmed with a German cast. Murder is filmed with an English or British cast. And I think Mary was released in I want to say 53, 54. I think Murder came out in 53 and Mary came out in 54, something like that. Anyway, I have now watched Murder. Good movie. So anyway, these are not books that I have read. These are movies that I really love that are based on books, Hitchcock movies. And of course, Rear Window is, I could have arced that more so it looked more like an arc and less like a wibbly wobbly. So anyway, these are, of course, the binoculars that Jimmy Stewart used in Rear Window. The Trouble with Harry is just hysterical to me. I guess it's a horror movie, but to me, it's a comedy. So anyway, got him. I really do want to do a second block of Hitchcock if I have the space on the shelf, on the horror shelf, because, there's The Birds, come on, Vertigo, so many Hitchcock movies that I just love. So anyway, those are my 6 blocks that I've done so far, and I have finished designing the whole thing. Now, I'm not going to make my bookcase yet because I understand there's a new one of those coming out that I want to look at before I make the bookcase. I have decided on my feet, and I have to go with my bookcase because I want to do some claw feet from Phantom and Stitches, and I'm going to do the feet in black because I think I'm going to do the bookcase in black. I can't commit to that until I decide what kind of bookcase I'm going to do, but my bed and furniture will be black, so I think I'm going to do the bookcase in black. I'm going to do the feet in black, and no matter what I do with the bookcase, even if I go with the wood grain or something, I think the black feet will go. And the reason I want to go ahead and do the feet is I know what I want to put under the bookcase. I have one thing that I want to put on top of the bookcase, so I've got a little bit of room up there if I need it. And I have 4 things to go on the side, so and they're like non-negotiable. So I've decided which 2 can hang on hooks up higher, and what needs to be standing on the floor. So anyway, I've got it all designed. I'm happy with it so far, and loving the ones that are being released on Phantom and Stitches, and I wish I could. I'm not allowing myself to indulge in all of those, or like I said, my entire new house will have every room lined with bookshelves. So anyway, that's what I've been up to. The other thing is, the reason I didn't get this done yesterday, and I don't really like when people, it's not that I don't like it. I don't feel like people have to come on a Wednesday and Thursday and explain why they weren't here on Tuesday, because I don't feel pressured to, and I don't want anyone else to feel pressured to have to record on Tuesdays. We'd love to see you anytime. So anyway, but I do have a reason why I didn't record on Tuesday, and that's because my brother, the one that my friends know as my other brother, because there's my brother who I see every day and lives 6 blocks from me, and then there's my other brother who is between us in age, and he lives across the river, so I see less of him. I see him about once a month. And he's got COVID and not doing well. It's really, really kicking him around, and having a lot of trouble breathing. And so yesterday I took him to the hospital, and I got him to the hospital. And that was quite scary for me because bad things happen in the hospital, in the COVID ward. So he is back home today and stable. So anyway, that was scary. So that I had too much on my mind. You know how, for me at least, quilting is helpful when I'm stressed, until I get to so much stress that the stress is getting in the way of the quilting and it's not productive. So that's why I wasn't kind of ready to talk to you guys yesterday. Anyway, I hope you all have a good week, and I'll update you on the rest of my projects when I have big goals for 2021, and we'll see how we do on that. So I do have my COVID hair coloring. I do have my COVID haircut, which I did cut myself. Not that it's good. And obviously COVID makeup. So anyway, have a great weekend. We'll talk soon. Bye.